Yeah. Hey, everybody. Tara Bachland here with the Matthew Wood Institute of Herbalism, here with Lee Arnoldy, Alberto Carbo from the team, and our very own esteemed teacher, Phyllis D. Light. And this is a watch party. We're actually watching one of Phyllis D. Light's classes. Surprise, surprise, it's going to be kitchen remedies. And I was re-listening to this recently in preparation for this, and holy cow, is it chock full of remedies that are right in your kitchen. So, Phyllis, this is like the ABCs, the 1, 2, 3s of herbalism.
Yes, it is. And not only that is, when I was thinking about kitchen remedies, these are the oldest remedies. What do you have in your kitchen? What do you do with potatoes? Yes, we all love, baked potatoes, mashed potatoes, stewed potatoes. But when it comes to medicine, how can we use a potato as medicine? So a grated potato is great to draw like a splinter out of the finger or draw pus out of a wound. So these kitchen remedies are probably the oldest remedies of families and mothers in the world. What do I have in the kitchen? And we are focusing not nutritionally, but we are focusing on what can I do with this as a remedy. What can I do with cabbage? What can I do with a banana? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so one of the kind of gist or feelings of why I wanted to do this is we can't always have a giant herbal apothecary. Not everybody can have one or afford one, or it has the knowledge even to be able to use one. And if you don't, that's, the Institute is there with all kinds of courses to help guide you through, your herbal progress along the road there. But what if you don't have anything? You don't have this giant herbal apothecary, but you have what's in the kitchen, or you have what you can run down to the grocery store and get. These are your options. And so that's why I designed the kitchen remedies and spices as medicine. We can get these at the grocery store, either in the food section or in the spice section. And we will never be without medicine if we understand these basics.
It's so true. And those of you who are just joining us, go ahead and chime in the chats. Let us know where you're joining us from. I'm in Minnesota, by the way, almost central Minnesota. Phyllis, can you guess where Phyllis is?
Alabama.
And we've got Lee also in Minnesota and Alberto with us from Canada. And so we'd love to hear who's joining us from where. And because these are things really you can get even around the world. I mean, these are such common spices these days. And what I really enjoy about it, I have to admit, in school, my worst subject was history. But learning through these classes, like your classes are also like a history lesson in one that are fun, that are enjoyable. We learned about the spice trade, about the Ottoman Empire, about different ways that these remedies were used even by soldiers back in the Roman days and the Civil War. So there's really so much context that you can gather from this as well.
Like I say, they're some of the oldest remedies in the world, right? They've been around that long. And so what are you going to do if the zombie apocalypse comes and you don't have an herbal apothecary? Going through these videos, just these common substances, you'll be ready. You'll be able to take care of yourself and your family and your friends just with these basics.
In one of your study group Q&As, so for our year 1 and year 2 programs, we also have study groups, and Phyllis does the majority of them. And someone brought up, I forget the name of the recipe, and what is it? It's from some old recipe.
English, ox bile, and that one.
And I thought to myself, who has, and someone's trying it in the group, and you wonder who is or who has tried this, because it's like, ooh, that sounds a little wonky. But what I love about all the ones that you're mentioning in your class and we'll get to it in a moment. Sorry, I'm already going longer than I'm supposed to. We have people from Southern California, Northern Minnesota. Phyllis is the queen of practical herbal remedies. People from all over. Also Aurelia, Ontario. So people from all over joining us. But what I love is, so your background, you were raised in herbalism. Like,
Yes.
and what do they call it? Ginseng hunting? Even
Yeah. Ginseng hunting.
You also have formal education, but also so much practical education. You're a mama and a grandmama. And so like all of these, I mean, you have done them, right? It's not like you just scrolled on Instagram and you saw this one. Oh, I can put this in my notebook and share it with everybody.
Right. These are all things that pretty practical, down to earth. And yeah, I've done them, and my kids can testify to some of the failures that we had along the way, but also the successes, because I've tried all kinds of home kitchen remedies along, raising 5 kids.
That's some tried and true words there for sure. Well, we're going to get started. We're going to, Alberto, if you can bring up, we're going to be highlighting, we're going to be watching some of Phyllis's Kitchen Remedies course. It's at the Matthew Wood Institute of Herbalism. We're going to be watching a couple of segments, selected segments out of class 1. There are 2 classes a part of this course. This is actually one of our certificate courses. So it's optional, but you can take a couple of tests there and also get a certificate. This is good, just hang on your wall if you're just like, I did it. Or if you're earning your credits to earn your way towards a herbal certification or registration. And so also want to let you know that during this time with this watch party, we are offering it at 50% off. Check out the comments below and you'll find a link to get 50% off this Kitchen Remedies course. We added them up. There's over like 100 remedies and 100 ailments addressed. Did you know that, Phyllis? That you had so
I did not
listed? And there are many, many recipes as well. So you can get 50% off the Kitchen Remedies course, this course that we're going to be watching some samples from, some clips from. And then, or if you really want to dive in and do more, like herbal medicine making, first aid, you can also get 50% off Library A to Z. With the link in the comments below. So wherever you're watching this, check out the comments or the description below, and we'll have a link there. So, Phyllis, I know you have to head out to some event, and I'm really glad that you could join us.
So see y'all later. Bye-bye.
So glad you could stop by.
Thank you.
Bye, Phyllis. Thanks for joining us.
So we're going to get started. There you go. That is Phyllis. You'll see her, of course, in the video, but it was good that she could stop in. So we're going to watch some of our favorite clips. Well, it's hard to choose our favorite clips, honestly, but here's some best of the best from this really terrific, amazing course for beginners, but certainly the advanced people are going to pick up a few things here and there too.
Kitchen spices as remedies. And I love talking about kitchen spices as remedies because the spices that we are going to talk about are easily obtained at any supermarket. You have a whole remedy medicine chest available to you just by going down to your favorite superstore or your supermarket. And they work absolutely amazing, and they are available when and anytime you need them. So let's get started. Common culinary herbs and spices, they have medicinal value due to their phytochemical content. And generally, when we're talking about kitchen spices, these are fragrant spices that also have a bit of oil to them. So often the fragrance, the taste is bound in the fat, in the oil, in the spice. So we'll be talking about cinnamon, cloves, thyme. There's a whole bunch of ginger, different cayenne. These spices can help us maintain our health and help prevent disease. They are generally all high in antioxidants and all have anti-inflammatory compounds. They can help lower blood sugar and help lower cholesterol. And this is if you are using these on a regular basis in as part of your dietary approach with your food. But we'll also be talking about specific things you can use those spices in your spice cabinet for. They also function as digestive aids. I really love that classic combination of cinnamon, ginger, cloves, maybe a touch of nutmeg, or maybe a touch of allspice. That's kind of like the classic combination that we think of as the pumpkin spice combination. It's also the apple pie combination. It's pretty close to being the chai latte kind of chai combination if you threw a little cardamom in on it. But traditionally, these spices were used in dishes with high fiber. Here in the kind of the Western world, they were used in like bean recipes like baked beans. They were used, as I said, in apple pie to help function as digestive aids with this fiber. They were used in pumpkin for the same reason. So regardless of which spice you're using, they help us digest the fats and carbohydrates and proteins in our dishes. Of course, they taste good. We use them for flavoring, and they can help prolong the life of the food and prevent spoilage because they're high in antioxidants. They're also generally anti-infective and have antibacterial properties. Some kill parasites, including like yeast and fungus. They're really relatively inexpensive to purchase, and they're very easy to procure. Like I said, you can find them at your local supermarket. They add taste to dishes, but they don't add calories. There are very long traditional uses of all these spices going back like thousands and thousands of years, like garlic. If we just look at garlic, which we will in a minute, and we go to Egyptian folk medicine or traditional medicine, and we look at the Ebush papyrus about 5,000 years ago, or so, 4,000 to 5,000 years ago. They were using garlic, they're using cinnamon, they're using cloves, and our uses today are pretty much exactly still in line with those uses of these herbs and spices from about 5,000 years ago.
It's incredible. These herbs, of course, have been around probably longer than we've known and used them, but like around the world. Like I said, this is like a history lesson at the same time, which is my favorite way to learn about history, which is in the context. So we have also more people joining us. Florida Panhandle, Linda is joining us. Good to see you all. Who's a fan of cayenne here? I had an episode recently where I was just like, maybe I was way too into it. But anyways, so that's part number one, a great intro. We have been using these herbs for eons, really. And what is so interesting is that not only do they taste good, but as we learn in the taste and energetics of the herbs, that it really signals to our body to do different things, whether it's aid in digestion, maybe get a little sweat going on. It's really, really fascinating. So not only do they taste great, but they, as you'll learn in these videos, they have all sorts of medicinal functions. So I'm not going to repeat what's actually coming up. Let's just get into the next clip. How about that? This, by the way,
Not including.
you were already queued up and ready to go. This, by the way, is from our website. And I think the screen is too small for this, but you can also on the website bring up closed captions, which would probably be too busy here, but and then there's transcripts below that you can follow along and also search. So if you're like, oh, where did she mention the poultice? You can search poultice and skip right to the point in the video where she mentions that. So just wanted to point out a neat feature. Alberto's bringing up demonstrating where the captions are as well. Actually, that's not too bad. Let's leave those up. All right.
In the slideshow. All right. First is garlic. And this is a member of the allium family. It is a bulb. It is very forgiving. It can now grow in a lot of places of the world. It's from Central Asia and Northern Iran. It is the bulb or the clove, the garlic clove that is used as food and as a remedy. It is antifungal, antimicrobial, antiparasitic. Allicin is the active biochemical which is found in garlic. It can help strengthen the immune system. It has a really, really long history of use. Roman soldiers used garlic poultices to treat wounds. Long ago, right? During World War I, the British government used garlic to treat battle wounds. And garlic was called the Russian penicillin during World War II because Russian soldiers used dried powdered garlic for battle wounds. It can be useful to help lower blood pressure, help reduce cholesterol levels, and help reduce inflammation. Now, fresh is best. Some allicin or a bit of allicin is lost in the drying process because garlic is heat sensitive. So as close to raw as you can get it, you're going to get the most benefit. Now, there is still some benefit in the dry powdered garlic, and it depends on how it's dried. The slower it's dried and at the lower heat, the more allicin that is retained. It may help repel tick bites when it is consumed. It's useful for coughs, cold, flu, pneumonia, lung disorders, bronchitis, and upper respiratory infections. So garlic has an affinity for the respiratory system. Garlic leaves through the lungs, which is why when you eat garlic, 6 hours later, there it comes out your breath and you're chewing gum and you're stepping back and people are like, wow, did you have garlic? Because this is how garlic leaves. That and sweat, it also will leave through the pores. So this makes it really specific for respiratory situations. One easy way, if you have small children, one easy way to get garlic into their system is to take a raw garlic clove and rub on the bottom of their feet. And it is really amazing how it just goes through the pores and into the lymph in the bloodstream. And within a short time, you can taste the garlic in your throat from rubbing it on your feet. If you've never tried that, give it a try. It's really fascinating. Garlic is a blood thinner and it helps improve circulation. It's active against yeast and fungus. The garlic oil can be irritating to the skin and it's irritating to the mucous membrane tissues. And the oil has emetic properties. And at one point in past history, swallowing garlic or garlic oil was used to make people throw up to rid their body of poisons. how we break down and utilize garlic, how we detoxify garlic in our liver is based on our genetics. And some people have no trouble processing garlic. Other people, it may have problems with allicin, which is a sulfur compound. And they can have gastrointestinal discomfort. It can cause queasiness and nausea, and it can cause belching and burping. The allicin, the sulfur yield of garlic is increased when you damage the garlic clove. So if you want to increase the allicin properties and the amount, take your garlic clove and just put them on your cutting board and just chop and let them sit for about 15 minutes. It greatly increases the allicin content, or when they're exposed to water. And if you've ever bought garlic, already minced garlic chopped up, it's almost always in water, not oil. As a matter of fact, they found that there is this bacteria that will grow when you mix garlic and oil together. So garlic is almost always in water with a touch of citric acid for preservation. And so now the allicin content has increased. So aged or cooked garlic doesn't produce the same benefits as the fresh, but it does contain some other healthy compounds. And again, it depends on how the garlic clove is dried. What I like to do, because garlic has a wonderful flavor, if I'm making something like a spaghetti sauce, or I'm making a stir fry, and I put some garlic into the oil at the beginning of the cooking, that is for flavor. That garlic is in there for flavor, right? And then I will save some chopped or minced garlic for later, and I'll make the dish, I'll make the sauce. And right at the end of the cooking time, I turn the heat off. The sauce is still really hot, but I turn the heat off, and then I add the rest of the chopped garlic. So we're getting some of that really good beneficial effects from that allicin, and it hasn't overheated. Raw garlic was historically used to treat pinworms in children. And the old remedy was a piece of bread with butter, with chopped or minced garlic on top of that. And then the kids ate the toast or the bread and butter with the garlic on it. Pinworms don't like raw garlic. All right. So, and again, be aware that high heat can destroy the beneficial effects of the garlic. So that's why I put it at the end of the cooking after the heat's been turned off. This is a kind of a well-documented case here, but I'm not sure that would be my first thing I would want to think of. I would probably try vinegar first. So this is garlic home remedy to grow hair back. It's rub a half a clove of garlic over the bald spot 2 times a day and for renewed hair growth. And the theory behind that is that there's fungus in their hair follicles that is preventing the hair growth. So again, I might try vinegar, a vinegar rinse, or rosemary in the hair and rubbed into the scalp to get rid of that fungus. But this worked for this person, absolutely. I am a little hesitant about garlic oil in the ears because as I've said, garlic and oil together can foster bacterial growth. But this is kind of like a really old traditional remedy. I wouldn't want to let it sit more than a week. I would tell you that. And then you just place a drop of the oil in each ear. I know that some people actually, peel a garlic clove and just put a sliver of the whole clove in the ear. That probably is actually super beneficial rather than putting it in the oil. I would rub the oil around the back of the ear and down the side of the neck. I usually mix it with mullein oil if I have some mullein oil available, garlic and mullein oil, not inside the ear, but around on the outside of the ear. Next is capsicum or
Yeah, I agree. I've had lots of ear issues, and putting stuff in the ears is they're so delicate, and you just really don't want to mess with. I totally agree. Putting it on the outside, or like the poultices that you'll hear about in classes as well on the outside. I'm much more comfortable with that. I saw you give a thumbs up, Alberto, to that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I've even just with my kids, for example, I've dipped my finger in the oil and then just gently rubbed here, not putting enough oil that the oil would go into the ear canal, but just to, coat and be absorbed by the skin right here. And that's worked pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I agree. I wouldn't put like drops of oil in your ear. That sounds a little too intense for my taste.
Yeah. It's so funny, speaking of like kids and like rubbing the garlic on their feet. And, like so many of these remedies are just like ingredients for like pizza. So you have like little pizzas running around, basically. Lee,
Yeah,
what's your favorite way? Go ahead.
No, I haven't tried the garlic. I've done onion for my kids' feet before. And it's amazing, like when they've had fevers and by the next morning, putting onion in their socks, and the next morning it's like cooked onion and it pulls the heat out. But I haven't tried garlic, so I'm definitely going to try that.
This is the class that actually got me into using raw garlic. And so cold and flu seasons come around, and just when, everyone's starting to feel a little, we did like raw garlic in the butter. The butter helps because it's so it's so intense that the butter does help, like on a cracker or a piece of bread. We've done that. And I also like it in honey. Like onions chopped in honey or garlic chopped in honey is another really easy way to kind of soothe it as it goes down, and especially if there's a sore throat involved with it. I've used it that way.
Yum. Yeah, I can really tell if something's legitimately coming on because I'll crave like minced garlic, and like Phyllis was saying, you get the active allicin in it, and then sourdough bread, slather on the butter, sprinkle on the minced garlic, go heavy, and like I give some to my husband too, because then we both have garlic breath and we're both fine. And then we use unsalted butter, so I'll sprinkle some more salt on it too, like a nice molten salt, like a flaky salt. And I know that it's working, or like I'm like done with it. Like when my body needs it, I'll just like devour it, and then it'll be like all of a sudden I'm done. I've had enough. It's so good. And then roasted garlic. I think, Lee, you said lately you've been making pan-seared steaks and you put garlic cloves in there also.
Oh, I did that with I was making chicken, and I tend to make a lot of chicken at once so that it's just very versatile and we can just throw it into meals. But I was feeling lazy and I just cut the bottom off of the garlic. I didn't peel it or anything, just to keep everything together. And then when it was finally cooked down and nice and soft, I just squeezed it out like you would squeeze toothpaste out of a tube, and you have this really nice pasty garlic, and it's kind of sweet too when you do that. It definitely has a different flavor than if you were to chop it up, for example. So just so you know, garlic is kind of a chameleon in that way. It does take on different flavors.
It is so interesting. I don't know why the visual I got is garlic in its different moods, so you get it, you chop it, it's one thing. You mince it or like grind it or put it through a press, totally another thing. I do not recommend that for your toast or your bread, because like the oils kind of seep out, and it's much better minced. And you roast it and it's like sweet. So it's like, I imagine myself like if I slept really well, like there's a different Tara in the morning. You chop her through the day and you have a different Tara in the afternoon. You know, you have a nice long weekend. That's like roasted Tara. It's like garlic. I don't know. That's that's the visual that came to me. And John's gonna comment. My husband's gonna comment in the chat. Like, that's true. Yet you do not want the squeezed Tara that's been pressed through the press. That's too spicy, and it'll stick with you for days. All right. I don't know where that one came from, guys, but
It might scare the cold out of you, though.
probably scare the cold and vampires and anyone else you want to scare away. All right. So what's next?
We got cayenne next.
Next is capsicum or red pepper or cayenne pepper, one of my favorites. And all peppers kind of developed from the cayenne. When we think about bell peppers, paprika, red peppers, little bitty hot green peppers, they all kind of came from cayenne. Cayenne stimulates the fluids of the body, especially the blood. It improves and equalizes circulation, and it stimulates the liver. It can be used topically or internally. It stops bleeding in the digestive system when taken internally and on the skin when applied topically. I'm not sure if you can buy this anymore, but they used to make a product that could be used like for when people shaved and they nick their face and it burnt, but you put this product on there and it immediately stopped the bleeding and it formed a little scab, but it had that cayenne burn for just a second or two. Cayenne is a digestive aid. It increases stomach acid and increases peristalsis. It is a traditional angina remedy. It's native to North and South of America and most likely originated in southern Mexico and then moved outward geographically. It is an antioxidant and it's high in vitamin C. It's an astringent and it draws the tissues together and stops bleeding. It is a carminative and reduces gas with meals. It's antispasmodic, anti-inflammatory, and pain relieving. So there's a product on the market called capsaicin that is cayenne cream to rub on sore muscles to increase the blood flow and reduce the soreness and reduce the pain level.
That's absolutely incredible. I mean, it can reducing pain just by bringing blood flow in and helpful constituents. Marshall says, did you try marinated garlic? I'd love to hear a tip on how you marinate garlic. Yeah. And Lee says, my cayenne experiences are happy accidents once in my eyes. Oops. Totally survivable. And once I inhaled it, inhaled it at the bulk food counter. I imagine there were a few tears that day.
I was even trying to be careful. I knew that if I unscrewed the jar to pour it in the funnel, that there would be some powder. It didn't matter. But my sinuses were very clear. And yeah, actually in both cases, like I felt very bright and shiny. So wherever it touches, it was definitely moving things.
That is terribly funny in a terrible way.
Oh yeah, you have to be careful which way the wind's blowing. And in both cases, that's what happened once was the heater turned on and it blew cayenne in my eyes. And that's actually an old remedy. So to help with eye circulation. So I guess the answer was blowing in the wind. It was cayenne.
I don't want to forget, too, that I just want to remind everybody, so this is a kitchen remedies course at the Matthew Wood Institute of Herbalism with Phyllis D. Light. Raised in herbalism, hunting, as they say, hunting the sang in Alabama, formally educated also in traditional naturopathy and sports medicine as well. And one of our teachers, esteemed teachers at the Matthew Wood Institute of Herbalism, raised 5 kids, grandkids. So she has used these remedies time and time again. And check out the links below in the comments or description, depending on where you're seeing this video, and grab the link for 50% off this Kitchen Remedies course. It's 2 classes, so it's really easy, digestible, you could say, easy to take in, and full of remedies that you can use that are right in your kitchen. So go ahead and grab that link in the comments below. Also, if you know, or if you're curious to explore more, we've also included a discount to extend to our library plus A to Z, which has many courses included: herbal medicine making, herbal first aid, family herbal, which is these types of remedies, but expanded for those bumps, bruises, those things that happen in everyday life, whether your family is a family of 1 or a family of many more. They are remedies that you will definitely use time and time again. So can you keep the recording afterwards? This recording will be up afterwards. These are, you will have access. The Library Plus A to Z is a subscription, so you have access as long as you're subscribed. You have access to almost every class that we have on the Institute. It's actually over 90 courses. And then the Kitchen Remedies is a 1-year access. You actually have online access to Phyllis, so you could ask her questions. So if you're like, how exactly did you use that? If there weren't quite enough details, for example. And there's also her slides are downloadable, so you'll have all that information to download as well. So let's get back to the recordings. Yeah, Alberto was just showing all the courses, or some, we didn't get through all of them, obviously, but courses that are within the library. Many, many courses. All right, this one we're doing good on time. Actually, I'm pretty pleased. But this next one has a remedy that you can use for Thanksgiving time here.
All right, the next one is cinnamon. I've been talking about cinnamon with cayenne already. So let's jump into cinnamon. There is Ceylon cinnamon, and then there's cassia. So there's cinnamonium and there's cassia. So which do you get in the grocery store? It depends. So you have to be careful. Do you want true cinnamon or do you want cassia? Cassia is a little bit cheaper. Now, cinnamon is a cassia, so that's a little misleading there. Sorry about that. Generally in the stores is called Ceylon cinnamon. And this is considered true cinnamon. It's a reddish tan in color, and it has a very sweet cinnamon taste. You can definitely taste the sweetness. That is traditional. Ceylon cinnamon is traditional. And then there's cassia, and it's brown, not reddish tan. So if you look at the spice, it's more brown. And there is a bitterness to the cinnamon taste. You don't get that sweetness. The cassia has coumarins, which are not healthy for the body in large amounts, the type that are in the cassia anyway, and should be used with caution in people who have liver disease. In Southeast Asia, cinnamon was traditionally considered a food preservative. It is the tree bark that is used. It is native to Ceylon, India, Burma, and East Asia. It is now cultivated in South America and California. The Egyptians also used it in the embalming process and traditionally used for coughs, colds, and flu. It has warming and stimulating properties. It is astringent and can stop bleeding. So now we're getting some overlap of properties between cayenne and cinnamon. They are not tasting anything alike, but both are warming, both are stimulating, both are astringent, and both can stop bleeding. And garlic, on the other hand, it is a blood thinner. It's kind of doing the opposite. When cinnamon is mixed with water, just room temperature water, it has a very mucilaginous kind of demulcent property. It is considered a tasty carminative digestive aid, and it helps relieve gas. It can lower blood sugar, and not maybe the last 2 or 3 years, there's been a lot of information, marketing information on the internet and magazine articles, etc., about taking cinnamon capsules to lower blood sugar. I think it's tastier just to eat it. It can be very helpful for IBS with chronic diarrhea, and it can help reduce menstrual cramping. It can help reduce the risk of heart disease. It can help fight bacterial infections in the gastrointestinal tract, and when used topically on the skin, fights fungal infections. It can help reduce triglyceride and cholesterol levels, may reduce the risk of Alzheimer's. Historically, it was considered to strengthen the nervous system. It reduces the risk of urinary tract infections, may improve insulin sensitivity, and it has antioxidant activity. A couple of home remedies. Number one, it's recommended not to exceed a teaspoon of one per day. If you have weak digestion, and what is weak digestion? Well, I would say weak digestion is when food kind of sits on your stomach and you're kind of peeing and belching 2 or 3 hours later. It hasn't really gone all the way, left the stomach to go to the small intestines. So for weak digestion, use a teaspoon of cinnamon, a teaspoon of cardamom, and a teaspoon of nutmeg. You just mix these together. They're all kind of powders. Mix them together and store them away in a tightly covered jar. And mix 1/4 teaspoon in warm water or milk for weak digestion or nausea. And this is a digestive aid. It can also help you sleep. You can add a teaspoon of cinnamon to a cup of water and heat it to almost boiling. Remove that from the heat. Add a teaspoon of honey, or more if you prefer, and kind of stir it up, get it all dissolved, and sip it slowly, and this will help improve a sore throat. For ringing in the
All right, there we go. Great. Well, we're coming into Thanksgiving, right? In the holiday season, and cinnamon is upon us. Can you imagine? I cannot imagine a Thanksgiving or a Christmas holiday season without cinnamon. We have Livia is asking, has anyone used cinnamon leaves since it's in the laurel bay leaf family? Have you, either of you?
No, but I've wondered about the relationship between it because it is in the laurel family. Yeah, we were exploring that today on our seasonal herbalist and going through the family names too, and the Lauraceae. So it's a super good question. I haven't, but it looks shiny and glossy, just like the bay leaves typically are too. And it turns red, so this really beautiful red color.
Neat. Maybe some of our friends from South America or places where it does grow. I think it did say in the video, right? It's been cultivated in South America now. But maybe they'll chime in and let us know if they do, if they have more access to it. And by the way, tune in to Learn Herbal Wisdom and Seasonal Herbalists on Facebook. There's a Facebook group, and if you want to go in more depth and have conversations like that, check out the Facebook group, and also on YouTube, Matthew Wood Institute of Herbalism. We broadcast live every Tuesday and Thursday at 11:30 Central, and we cover a new herb each week. And so Alberto and Lee are your people. If you want to go more in depth and learn neat things like that, like the plant families, doctrine of signatures, so how the plant looks like, what it can help with, so many other things, practical uses. Alberto, especially has 3 little kids, and so often is sharing the neat tips and tricks. And because I know you feel so nervous, right, with little kids using them, and so he gives us tips and tricks about that. So definitely check that out wherever you're watching here. Stay tuned. Make sure to subscribe and like. And we're going to end with one more clip here. We have, who was it? Exposure Libs was asking, how long is this watch party going on for? Just for a few more minutes here. But Lee or Alberto, did you have anything to chime in on? I mean, there's so much to say about cinnamon.
When I went to India about 10 years ago, just on a trip, and I did go to a place, it was like a botanical garden, and mind you, but at that point, I didn't know much about plants. So I could have, if I went now, I'd have many more questions, but I did see cinnamon growing, and I had asked about the leaves, but they were like, what you want is the bark, kind of thing was the answer. So I think because, or what I'm thinking is that because the bark is so commercially viable, maybe the leaves just get overlooked, but I wonder if a traditional healer would have a use for them. That'd be a great question to ask.
Is the bark renewable like oak cork is?
So, yeah, it's you want the young shoots, but they have to be like if it gets too thick and too big, it's not the best. So you want young shoots, but they have to be at least 3 years old.
So then it does kill the plant. Then it
doesn't kill it. It just gets like tougher.
Oh, okay, interesting. Well, that's nice.
And then and it's interesting. We were talking about this in the seasonal herbalist Q&As, that how they usually harvest after monsoon season. So after it's rained a lot and the trees have soaked up a lot of water, because it's easier to peel them and get the bark. So it's like that doctrine of signatures relationship between cinnamon being warm and stimulating and a little bit spicy, pungent, if you will, versus damp conditions and damp tissue states.
Neat. Well, I have a little trick. So recently I made applesauce because it's apple season here, right? And I accidentally cooked it a little too long. So I literally burnt the bottom of the pan. I just, I turned the dial just a little too far, and it went from low, because I was going to cook it on low, to high on the next burner setting. I was like, and so it didn't ruin all the applesauce, but it kind of had a little overcooked taste. So I just added some cinnamon to it to kind of mask it a bit. Fine. No problem. Thank you, Exposure Libs. Exposure Libs says, you guys did a great job. Are you going to do this again? You bet we are. So stay tuned. We were just planning more today. And so stay tuned to that. And also check it out every Tuesday and Thursday. If you like this, you'll definitely like the Seasonal Herbalist. New herb each week. Great content there. So how about our wrap-up clip?
There we go.
Properties. So here's a golden milk recipe, and golden milk has been very popular for a few years, at least in my area. You can use milk, and if you're using milk, it should be full fat milk, or you can use coconut milk, and it's a half a teaspoon of ground turmeric. You can do a dash of black pepper, you can do a dash of cayenne pepper, and you can do a dash of cardamom or cinnamon, take your pick. You simmer it for about 15 minutes. You don't boil it. You don't boil the milk. You just simmer. And then add what other other spices you would like is will help reduce inflammation and improve sleep. It's like one of my favorite sleep aids. All right.
All right. Like I said, there's so many recipes and so many remedies mentioned in this. It was hard to pick out which ones to feature. Alberto, I saw you give like an A-OK. I bet you are a golden milk aficionado.
I do like golden milk. Yeah, I you know, when I first discovered it, I was obsessed with it and drank it a lot. But you know, just like everything, you learn about something new, you're like, this is amazing. And then eventually you kind of use it more selectively. So I don't use it all the time anymore, but it is definitely one of those beverages that, you know, I think of it mostly when I've had like a stressful day and I'm like feeling kind of tense. I'm feeling, you know, wound up. And so it really helps to bring me like back into parasympathetic to, you know, a relaxation state so I can move past the stressful day and then get into the evening and catch some relaxed sleep.
That's for sure how my golden milk experience is like. I got a pre-made kind of container because that's, I think, how a lot of us probably try it is you get a bottle of something that's golden milk flavored or powder mix. And it was like, yeah, give me some more. And it was totally a phase. Lee?
Yeah, my first golden milk, that experience that I had was actually gifted to me. Someone had made little jars for holiday gifts, which is the perfect time for it. You know, it's just, it would, yeah, just those cold Minnesota nights. And so, yeah, it was a nice little jar, and she had labeled it with all the ingredients in there too. Lots of little extra ingredients in there like clove and stuff. Oh man, it's very tasty. Yep.
Well, that full fat is important too, that, you know, it can satiate you more, right? You have that, especially if you're taking it at night, it can tide you over, but also the good sugars in the milk, the lactose, right? That can help you get to sleep a little bit more. Sometimes people, I've heard, well, it's been taught in classes and I've heard on podcasts as well that people who have a hard time falling asleep or staying asleep, it can be a blood sugar issue. And so the fat helps to stabilize, but also that lactose, a little bit of healthy sugars can also help kind of get you into the sleep. You don't want too much because then you can have the rebound later that night, but just a little bit to help you get to sleep. I like golden milk because I do like chai, but it's a little too warming for me. So I like it as like a smoother, creamier, gentler version of chai in a way.
Yeah, that's a good observation. Yeah, chai in the morning would be definitely more what I would want to, you know, wake up and like get the day going.
Yeah, especially in the cooler weather, like cool and damp weather is really called for. Yeah. Let's see. So just a reminder, that was the highlights. There was so much more to this. Like I said, I was reviewing this in preparation, and it's like, it's just so chock full of remedies. You would not believe how many things you can aid in, and how many ailments, how many issues you can aid just in your kitchen alone. I think we added up easily over 100 remedies, over 100 issues covered in both of these videos. So just a reminder, Alberto is going to show us again. This is the Kitchen Remedies course at the Matthew Wood Institute of Herbalism. And we're offering, check down below wherever you're watching this, in the comments, in the description, you'll see a link, and that link will offer you 50% off this course. And this course, great for beginners for sure, but experienced people will also pick up a ton of information from this. The slides are downloadable. You'll have access for 1 year. You also have access to Phyllis. Alberto, show us in that discuss section. This is actually our website. You can see here that you can tag the teacher and ask them questions. And so your access includes access to the teacher to ask your questions as well. So as well as an online community, you have access to all of us. we're on there as well. So if a teacher, we might even get back to you before a teacher does, for example. You have very knowledgeable team members here to help you out. And we are also offering 50% off library plus A to Z. Library plus A to Z, as you can imagine, is our library, is almost all of our courses on, actually I think right now it is all of our courses on the site, almost all of our courses on the site. And so if you know that you want to go further and you want to start making herbal medicine, you want to know how to use herbs for first aid, for those bumps, those bruises, those aches, those pains, things that happen that you would use your first aid kit, right? The one with the white cross on it, that sort of thing. But begin to build your herbal first aid kit. You'll get 50% off that too. So you can choose which one is better for you. Alberto is just scrolling through some of the courses that are featured in Library A to Z, and almost all of these offer certificates as well. The certificates are optional, but it's kind of a fun way. You can take the test and test your knowledge, get a certificate, hang it on your wall, or tuck it away in case maybe later someday you want to turn those in and get your herbal registration or certification. And you never know. Herbalism is one of those things where you get started and you're like, I'm just gonna check this out, and then you soon find yourself, it's like the buffet. You're like, no, I'm going to try this. I'm going to try that. That's where herbs, or the library plus herbs A to Z, comes in handy. And we also have a live class each month. So check out below in the comments. You will see a link, and that link will automatically apply 50% off at checkout. And that's for the kitchen remedies or the library plus A to Z. And there we go. He's still scrolling. That's how many amazing courses we have here. And always feel free to reach out to us at hello@woodherbs.com if you're like, I don't know where to start. Or, what would you recommend? Maybe you've already started, but you're like, what would you recommend? Where would you recommend to go next? We have very, very experienced people to help you out. You just heard from them, Lee and Alberto. Linda says, I love the Tuesday, Thursday classes with Lee and Alberto, for sure. And check that out. We are going over time here, but make sure to check out those broadcasts on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You'll learn how to download and access more of our resources, free resources we have on the site. Or go ahead and explore the site. You'll see in the menu, you'll see classes offerings, free class offerings, and helpful resources for you as well. Did I miss anything, you guys?
I mean, we could keep going, but yeah, just so wonderful. Such great. I love the practicality of the remedies that Phyllis talks about in this class. Is just, you can go right to your cabinet and start doing herbal medicine. Like, how practical is that?
I've maybe one hint before we leave. I remember, whether it's your spice cabinet or your apothecary or your herbal medicine cabinet, you might wonder, is this still potent? Can you still use it as medicine? A good indicator is, Livia, by the way, the link is the one that says kitchen remedies. It should say 50% off, but it's the one that it says kitchen remedies, and then there's a link. You're in YouTube. It will be below in the comment section. But if you're having issues, feel free to contact us at hello@woodherbs.com, and we'll take care of that for you also. But as far as, will this work as medicine? First of all, take a sniff. If it still has fragrance, it still has medicinal potency. And also you can tell by the color. And the color, if you know what color it's supposed to be, obviously, that will indicate if it is wearing out. It's not a technical term. Running out of potency. So the link is below. There, the link says Kitchen Remedies and Library A to Z, 50% off. Thank you. And with that link, the link will take you automatically to the Kitchen Remedies sales page. Maybe, Alberto, let's bring that up again so we can have a visual. So when you click on that link below, It's for the Kitchen Remedies course, 50% off Kitchen Remedies. And you can also choose library A to Z, but I'll guide you here. So that link automatically applies the coupon code. So you can check out Kitchen Remedies for common ailments and first aid. Where it says continue, that's actually a button. Alberto's already enrolled, so it would say enroll for you. And then when you go to checkout, the coupon is already applied, so it makes it super easy for you. But also in that, where it says continue currently, it would say enroll for you. It'll give you the option for library plus A to Z. You can check that out. Good. I'm glad you see that now. And in the library A to Z, it'll also say, I think we have 94 or 96 courses now. It'll be a green hot link, and that will take you to the library. You can also go to the library through our homepage, check out what that is all about. So if you're curious, it'll keep track of you. So it will automatically apply that coupon at checkout. You'll see that at the bottom. Wow, Linda says she grows her own turmeric. Neat. Yeah, so that link will automatically apply a coupon, make it easy for you. But if you're having issues, just feel free to contact us at hello@woodherbs.com. We're happy to help you out there. So there you go. Wonderful. Great to see all of you. Thank you so much. What wonderful participation today as well. These are so fun to do. I mean, people literally joining from all over, usually all over the world too. So this is our first watch party. So I imagine very soon we'll have literally the crowd from all over the world joining. Livia will check on that. Email us at hello@woodherbs.com and we will help connect you, make sure that works out right for you. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful night. Thank you, Alberto and Lee. And join us on Tuesdays and Thursdays. See y'all. And there's a bunch of recordings there, by the way. Check those out. Have a wonderful night, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.